Welcome everybody and to our Continuum of Care Documentation and Training Series, May 2020. Today we will be talking about the Universal Case Record format. Some years ago, we got together as a CoC and decided that we needed to have a Universal Case Record format, one in which all our CoC agencies can utilize to document case-related information. So today I will be talking briefly about what we discussed and what we developed as a practice in our CoC. Today, the first section is referral and documentation. In our first section of our case record, we're asking that everyone document these lists of information that are here in section 1. Intake, skills assessment, screening forms, face sheet, CE intake and referrals, the HMIS intake and application, vital information, birth certificates, IDs, etc., and program discharge information. Section 2, we're asking that everyone document eligibility. As you all know, eligibility is a very important part of what we need to collect and is required by HUD. So this information has to be in the record and it has to be accessible for audit purposes. So section 2, homeless verification. As you know, many of our programs require a certain length of time homeless in order to be eligible for that program. So that information should be placed in section 2. Disability verification, also very important. Some of our programs, there has to be a disability associated with the individual going into the program, and that information needs to be documented either through a letter from a clinician with the HUD language attached, a SSI award letter, or a SHAC assessment containing the HUD language. This information and these forms, these examples can also be located on our website, which is also listed here on this page. Section 3, casework documentation, case notes, ISPs, ILPs, service plans. Oftentimes, when we come to do an audit, we review this information and it should be in section 3. Section 4, release of information. HMIS release is one of the most important documents that we are looked for when we come to do an audit, because in order for anyone to have their information entered into HMIS, they must give consent, and that consent is given through a signed HMIS release. That documentation should be in the record and also should be uploaded in the HMIS system. General consent forms also should be in this section, section 4. And again, you can visit our website for examples of these documentation. They're all on our website that you can review if you're not sure or familiar with these forms. Section 5, housing. Rent reasonableness, HQS, current or prior leases, occupancy agreements, VAWA documentation, lead-based paint information, environmental reviews, all should be in section 5. And again, this documentation is very important because it is HUD required documentation and something that is reviewed on annual audits. Section 6, financial information, occupancy charges, rent calculation and utilities, supportive documentation, enrollments, income verification, pay stubs, DSS budget sheet, SSI award letters, all in section 6. Section 7 should contain court documentation or general correspondence. Section 8, other forms. They could be Con Ed statements, bills, documentation, any other information that is needed to be collected by your organization can go in section 8. Again, it's important that these information and these documentations are kept in the various sections outlined. It's also required that documentation for the last 2 years be kept in the record for these specific pieces of information. Leases, you should have 2 years of your leases in your current case record. HQS, inspections should have the last 2 years, occupancy agreement, rent reasonableness, and rent calculation. You should have at least the last 2 years of these documentation in your current case records. Also, as you can see on the side, it is recommended that you utilize a binder such as this one with 3-inch rings so that you can really capture all the information that's necessary. Sometimes the binders might get really full, and this size binder is really helpful, and it allows you to, put in all the sections without having it overcrowded or just disorganized. So I hope this training was helpful and good success to you as you continue to serve our families and clients who are seeking a permanent housing. Thank you.